that it is started?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
So yeah, I think let's get going.
okay. So, Radhe Radhe everyone. Today we'll be doing the fourth discourse on the Mahatmyam of Shrimad Bhagavatam. So, okay. Let's do the invocation. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha, Vasudeva Sutam Devam, Kamsa Chanuramardanam, Devaki Paramanandam, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum, Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. All right, so today's discourse is titled Redemption of Atmadeva, a Brahmana. So, Sarvam Krishna Arpnamastu. So we see this image, right? He is actually really depressed and sad. So we'll know why. So before that, let's do a brief recap. So in the previous class, we learned about Narada coming to know where this yagna, gyan yagna, of, recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam has to happen. So while they went towards that place called Ananda, this news spread across the land, not just in the earth, but across everywhere in the universe. So different types of beings, gods, beasts, every one came there. They took, like the Shastras themselves took forms of human-like form, personified forms, and as persons they came, and the environment of Ananda plus this the presence of the divine beings, this place became even more blessed. And then with the proper rituals, Narada greeted the Sanakadi brothers and asked them to have a seat. So once they sat down and everybody paid their obeisance to them, they started telling about the glory of Srimad Bhagavatam first, just like how we are doing right now. And in the glory, they said that Srimad Bhagavatam is equivalent to everything else. It's not like, we should never differentiate between deities. So they said that Om is equivalent to the Vedas, is equivalent to the cow, is equivalent to the Vishnu avatar. Various things. And then they talked about the importance of, if a devotee, if somebody is able to find a Vishnu devotee and give Srimad Bhagavatam to them, they get united. The giver gets united with Lord Krishna. And they said that if the listener as well as the speaker, they both attain, unity with Krishna when they recite the Bhagavatam, when they and with a lot of pious deeds in thousands of life, one gets that chance to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that respect, actually, I came across recently something on grace, that somebody was asking what is grace. So it says, if we consider everything over here in this world as, Maya, or a dream-like state, and we are supposed to awaken from this in order to get liberated, then in this dream, we are getting the association of saints, which is grace. We are getting to learn about these scriptures, which are, very esoteric in nature, and this is naturally coming to us and we are discussing. So that is grace. So the Srimad Bhagavatam is here, um, probably because of our, something we did, or out of pure grace. And then we have learned about the story of how Uddhava was worried that he reached reading the Srimad Bhagavatam 11th canto, and he said that right now only there were so many problems. In Kali Yuga there will be even more. And how, Krishna, your devotees, people like us will get redeemed, or future generations will get redeemed and can reach you. I'm greatly worried. Then Krishna considered his words, and he infused an essence of himself into the Srimad Bhagavatam, making this book this highest that one person can ever come across. We learned the story of Brahma weighing Shrimad Bhagavatam against all the spiritual practices out there and all the text, Vedas, everything. And this was scoring to be the highest, and it guarantees liberation. So we learned about when the Mahatmyam was being recited and almost came to an end, how Bhakti Devi with her two sons appeared, you know, completely healthy, and no signs of any problems. And then Bhakti Devi asked to the Sanakadi brothers that where should I stay now that I'm fully, recovered, and my sons are also like that. So he advised them that reside in the hearts of Krishna devotees, Vishnu devotees, and in that way, and help them. And she immediately goes and sits in their heart. So till this we have learned last week. So now, so this sutta, this was originally this was being mentioned, by Sutta to the Shaunaka rishis, right, at Naimisharanya. So Sutta began again. He's saying that now Krishna saw how devotion got established in the hearts of his devotees, and uh, once comes into the devotees, Krishna cannot be away from them. So leaving his own world, Krishna entered their pure hearts. So the Lord, appeared, and now they are able to see him within them, within their hearts. So the Lord wore a garland made up of forest flowers. So if you look at the pictures, it's really, you will have a good imagination. He's, made up of forest flowers around his neck. His skin was dark brown, like a rainy cloud, and he was dressed in yellow silk that looked beautiful. He captivated everyone with his lovely form, wearing a shining belt and a brilliant crown with earrings shaped like alligators. He stood gracefully with his body slightly bending in three places and wore a beautiful Kaustuba gem on his chest. He was more charming than millions of Cupid, an image of pure bliss, looked incredibly attractive, and held a flute near his lips. So now, in many beings from even Vaikunta also came to see him, right? Like Uddhava, who were devoted to Lord Vishnu. When he appeared, they all started shouting, "Glory to the Lord, glory to the Lord!" And they started sounding the conch shells, and there was overwhelming joy all around. And everyone, this dharana state, now that became a dhyan. So everyone gathered became so absorbed in the Lord that they forgot their bodies, homes, and even themselves, who they are. So that kind of a magical environment got created at that moment. Then Narada, noticing their deep state of devotion, he asked, he said that this Srimad Bhagavatam, when done for a week, it purifies even the most ignorant and sinful, including the beast and the birds. He said that in Kali Yuga, there is no act that is more powerful than reciting the stories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now he had this question. He says that now in Kali Yuga, we know that most of the people by nature will be sinful. So he says that what kind of individuals could be thoroughly purified through this 7-day yajna? So then Kumar starts saying, anyone who commits sinful deeds, live immorally, consumed by anger, could be purified in Kali Yuga through this yajna. They added that those who lie, disrespect their parents, are restless in their desire for pleasure, neglect their duties, act hypocritically, jealous of others, or delight in destruction could also attain purity through the 7-day yajna. He says that if somebody is responsible for 5 grave sins like drinking, killing a Brahmana, stealing, having improper relations with others' wives, and treachery, and those who are deceitful, cruel, merciless, like demons, who misuse money meant for Brahmanas or commit adultery, would be cleansed in Kali Yuga by this yajna. All they have to do is come there. Then again, even if they are like that because of their past misdeeds, if they are coming here, that means they have done good deeds also. So even those who are wicked in thought, word, and deed, who are parasitic, whose minds are impure and hearts are wicked, can attain purity in this yagna. And to finish it off, they actually, because they wanted to ask, the Narada was asking the question, right? So they told Narada about the story. The story is about the Atmadev. So there was a Brahmin called Atmadev. He said that they said long time ago, there was in a beautiful town near Tungabhadra river, there lived a s- there lived a man. There were people who followed their duty, spoke truthfully, and lived righteously. So very good town. So in this town lived a Brahmana named Atmadev. So this Atmadev was very well versed in Vedas and skilled in performing all the rites. He was wealthy also, but he actually chose to live on alms. So he was wealthy, but he liked to live on alms. He had a wife, and his wife also came from a good family and was attractive, but always ruled over her husband. That means the husband used to listen what the wife will say. So the wife's name was Dhundhuli. She loved gossip, talking excessively, was cruel and miserly, skilled in household chores, yet she was quarrelsome. Despite this, there was a stark difference in their nature, but they lived happily together until they got this worry that they don't have any child. So they started doing more good deeds, hoping to have a child. They began to donate cows, land, gold, clothes, etc., and half their wealth went in that, but still they had no child, and which caused him great anguish and worry. And so one day he left his home and went to the forest. So in the forest, while he was weeping, there came a sage, and the sage actually asked him, you know, tell me what happened. Why are you so sad? What is the reason for your distress? And he says, where should I start? And he says that when I offer water to, I don't know what I did in my previous life to have earned, this kind of a treatment. I offer water to the spirits of my departed ancestors, and it becomes lukewarm from their size. That means they are not happy because our progeny is needed to do the rites for the ancestors, right? And he has no child, so he's thinking that they are also sad. And he's saying that gods and brahmanas do not accept my offerings with pleasure. I'm so pained by my childlessness that everything in life feels empty, and I have come here to end my life. This life feels worthless without a child, a home, wealth, and even a family line worthless without a child. He says, the cows I keep turns out to be barren. I cannot plant a tree, and if I plant, it do not bear any fruits or flowers. Every the I am so he's saying, being so unfortunate and childless, what do I have to live for? I have no reason. And he began to weep bitterly in front of the sannyasi. Now the sannyasi was moved by this him, who was very strong in yoga. He looked at him sternly, and then he said, he warned actually. He said, give up your strong desire for having a child. I have looked into your past karma. You know, for 7 life you will have absolutely no son, no son at all. Listen to me, in let go of having this yeah, all hope of having a family. He says true happiness lies in renunciation. So we'll think, oh, renunciation means going into the forest, or no, the renunciation means actually to give up your kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So these kinds of all evil emotions that actually makes you away from God and more egoistic, that if you are ready to renunciation, in your home you are a sannyasi. There's no need to go out and wander around. uh, um, the Brahmana replied, "O saint, how will wisdom?" So again, Atmadeva is completely consumed by this childlessness. He says that, and Brahmana is actually saying that you rely on the wisdom. You know the Vedas, right? We learned previously, but he's not the no nothing is coming in front in his grief, right? So he's saying that you rely on the Vedas, and you don't go on that route. So this renunciation. So then Brahmana again replies that this renunciation that you are talking about, which lacks the joy of having a son, is completely tasteless to me. So some people are like that, they understand everything on the surface level. Oh, sannyasi means leaving everything and going, but they don't realize the true meaning of renunciation. So he's saying that, like that, Atmadev was also saying, this renunciation, he's thinking right now he's in the forest, is renunciation. This which lacks the joy of having a son is completely tasteless to me. The only sweet thing in this world is family life filled with sons and grandsons. Now, listening to that, again, the sage warns him about, the king Chitraketu and his wife Krutdhuti, that they suffered greatly at the hands of destiny when they tried to go against it. So, what was that? So, King Chitraketu had many wives. Okay. Does anybody know the story? Okay, so let me say.
No. No?
No,
No,
okay.
Saad is saying like he doesn't know the story.
Okay. So, yeah, so King Chitraketu, what happened was he had many wives, okay, but he had no kids. So he always, just like how our Atmadev is, he was very, very sad. So he will, one day, Durva, I don't remember the sage's name, a very, renowned sage. He came and he told, he came from somewhere and he wanted to meet King Chitraketu, and he saw Chitraketu in this extreme worrying, sad, mood. So he said that, okay, what happened? Why are you sad? He says that I don't have a child. That's why I'm like this. He says that, okay, I can help you in that. And he did a yagna. So when they did that yagna, the leftovers he gave to the wife, the first wife, Kritdhoti, and she ate it, and she gave a child, in like due time. She gave birth to a child. So now Chitraketu was exhilarated. So the sage actually warned King Chitraketu, this child will bring happiness and sadness in your life. So King Chitraketu, he started spending more time with his son and his this first wife Kritdhuti, which made the other wives very, very jealous, and they actually poisoned the son's food, and the boy died. So when that happened, Chitraketu became extremely sad again that he lost his boy, and the wife also was devastated, and they told him, I mean, at that time, this Rishi with Narada actually came there, and he said, "Why are you crying now?" He says that, "Look, my son is no more. I don't know what to do. I'm in extreme. Okay, I will call your son." So he calls actually the son's the soul, and the son's soul comes. And then he says, like, look, you have to go back to this body, and you have to be with your your parents and live as a life of a prince. So the soul actually looks at the that body and the parents of the body and says that, these, I have had millions of life before this. So which parents are you talking about? These parents that you call are as mine, actually they have been my child in my previous many many births, and sometimes they were my friends and sometimes they were my enemies also. So whatever time that I was allotted and to this is over, and now I must continue my journey. So I cannot, I won't be coming back. I don't recognize them as my parents. And saying this, they left, and that actually opened the eyes of King Chitraketu, and helped him from this pain that he was actually experiencing. That everything we think about this world is actually not true. We are here on a journey, and that's where we must proceed, and not crying and all of that is not the way to go about it. Then he says that, so warning about King Chitraketu and his wife, the story, the sannyasi actually again said, you cannot be happy with a son, as you are like the one whose plans are blocked by destiny. So don't do it. But Atmadev still insisted. So the sage said that you are so insistent and stand before me, seeking an end. What should I say to you? So he actually then gave a fruit to the Brahmana and said, "Let your wife eat this fruit." And then he actually instructed, so he gave some instructions that for 1 year your wife must practice truthfulness, cleanliness, and kindness, give alms, and eat meals only one type of grain, and only once a day. So by doing this, she will have a son of extremely pure character. So after saying this, the yogi went away. And now he became very happy, and he came home, and he um, gave the fruit to his wife. And then he had some other work, so he went away. Now the wife actually, seeing the fruit, started crying. She became very worried. And then she actually called one of her female friend, and she started telling her that if she eats the fruit, she would conceive a child and become big bellied. She would not be able to eat full meals, which would make her weak, and she would not be able to do any household work. She worried that if dacoits attack the village, she will, being pregnant, she won't be able to run, and she might get killed. And then she says that, just like Shukamuni stayed in the belly, Ved Vyasa's wife, belly of Ved Vyasa's wife for 12 years. What if the child refuses to come out? Then I won't be able to deliver it. Says that it will be very difficult, to carry the baby in the womb. And she might even, if it is in a wrong position, during the delivery, she might die. And she said that childbirth pain is very severe, and she, being delicate, would struggle to bear them. All kinds of excuses she's actually telling, and getting worried. And she's ultimately saying that, a truly happy woman is one who's barren or has lost her husband. That is what her conclusion was. And she was saying, following her misguided thoughts, she did not eat the fruit. And then she just hid the fruit, and she told her husband, yeah, I ate it. And one day her sister, actually, who was pregnant, came to meet her, and to her she told all her sorrows. And she actually, gave a very, big idea that she could think of. And she said that she already has a family, she already has a kid, so pretend that you are pregnant, and you live comfortably, and when I give birth, I will give my child to you. You just give my husband some money and convince him that I will, you will return my child back to me. So uh, she said, yeah, I can do that. So then they planned accordingly, and she planned to tell the people that her own child, the sister said her own child has died at the age of 6 months, and she would visit daily to nurse the child. So, and she also told, you want to test now whether this fruit is really effective, because this fruit only is causing you so much problems, right? So she said, you give that to the cow. And if you see that conditions that the Brahmana was saying, actually the cow was the one who was able to meet it, right? Um, which was what? Uh, it gives, milk, is kind. I mean, I don't know what the truthfulness is, but eats meal once only, and one type of grain and all, kind of fulfills those things. So it was given to the cow, and now the Brahmana's wife, that is Dhundhuli, followed her sister's advice. She did exactly as she was told, and in due course, a child was born to her sister. And the father secretly brought the child to Dhundhuli and gave it to her. Now, Dhundhuli informed her husband that, yeah, I have given birth to this boy. And Atmadeva became very happy, and he performed the Jataka, uh, Jatakarma ceremony, and made gifts to the Brahmanas. There were much celebration with music and festivities. Also, there was a magic that happened. Dhundhali, who actually told her husband that I don't have milk to nurse, and my sister lost her child. So please, I will call her, and she can give, and probably that way, my son will be able to live a healthy life. So Atmadev agreed to that also. So that's why, like, whatever she says, Atmadev is agreeing, is not try questioning her. And then actually what happened was, 3 months later, the cow also gave birth to a human child. So now Atmadev, who told initially to the ascetic that even the cows that I have is not giving birth, so suddenly the cow gave birth to a human child, right? So everyone came to know about it, and people actually came to see this child was glowing like gold. So Atmadeva, astonished, also performed rituals for the divine child, and people came to see it. They said Atmadev's fortune is amazing. Even a cow gave him a child. But nobody knew the secret that Dunduli actually did not eat the fruit and gave it to the cow. The boys actually both grew up. Now, here is the twist. Atmadev actually, the boys had a ear like a cow, so he named the child Gokarna because of his cow-like ears. The boys grew up, both of them, and Dhundhali actually named the boy. His name was Dhundhukari, and the second boy from the cow was Gokarna. So they grew up. Gokarna was wise and virtuous, but Dhundhukari turned wicked, and he ignored the rituals, stayed unclean, ate impure food, and was full of anger. Now, he was a wicked one, right? So he stole, set fires, threw children into wells, while pretending to play. He took pleasure in killing and roamed around armed. He had knife in his hand, oppressing the miserable and the blind. So he enjoyed the company of lowest caste. He had a noose in his hand, accompanied by dogs in search of game, and he fell into bad companies of prostitutes. He squandered all his father's wealth. One day, he even beat his parents and took away every utensil from the house. He has to maintain his lifestyle, right? So, when all his property was lost, the miserable father, which is Atmaram, who was actually, was wanted to become a father, wanted to have a child, but this is what happened to him. Dhundhukari began to wail loudly, as the tradition goes. He lamented, saying it would have been better if his wife had remained childless. An evil son, he said, brings only agony. He wondered where he should live, who would relieve his distress. So again, he's back to his distress, and he feared that this suffering would cause death. So at that time, his other son, the Gokarna, arrived. He said that, he revealed the glory of detachment, and he tried to open his father's eyes. So Gokarna was even though he looked little different, he actually learned everything, all the Vedas and everything. So he actually now became the um, seer, or the person who guides and kind of teacher for his own father. So Gokarna explained that there is no real substance in this world. It is filled with misery and brings suffering through attachment. The moment you are attached to anything other than the God, you will have suffering, because that's the nature. Maya's nature is to give you pain and pleasure. Now, Gokarna says that true happiness does not belong to even Indra, the king of gods, and or any universal monarch. Only those who reject the sensory pleasures, live in seclusion, and focus on contemplation are truly happy. So, contemplation means what? Contemplation means really thinking about your actions. That is contemplation. And live in seclusion means you cannot live in a place where there is so much noise and think about having a contemplation. You will just, a man becomes like the company that he keeps, right? That's what we hear. So if we go into a very noisy environment, and if we expect that we can become a truly contemplative, truly happy person, no, it will not happen. But then we have to think also that it also um, points out to the silencing of the thoughts that you are having. So living in a seclusion also means that you have less noise in your head. Your mind is more peaceful. So again, you should not always think that you should leave everything and go. It's all about you transforming yourself, your inner self, through your efforts, by harboring good thoughts. So he says that those who reject sensory pleasures, again, if every time we go out for anything in this material world, it will give us results, right? Karma, which can be happy or bad. In bad, because we have learned in Bhagavad Gita, right, that if you go for a rajasic activity, it always ends up in pain. Whereas if you do go for a sattvic, it gives you happiness and joy. And tamasic will actually make you more lower than what you are currently. So whatever pleasure you are seeking, that actually can cause you more problems. So Gokarna advises his father to give up this illusion that Dhundhukari was his son, as attachment only leads to one to hell. So wherever, if you are attached to someone evil, then that is the place that you're going to go you know so that's what he's trying to, whatever Vedic knowledge he has, he's trying to convince his father and trying to bring him out of his sorrow. He concluded by urging his father to renounce everything and retire to the woods, because now at this stage, look, being in this environment, he will become only more sad, because he's already, all money lost, everything will make his mind more sadder. Then, hearing Gokarna's advice, his father decided to go to the forest, and but he requested his guidance. He asked his son to tell him in detail where should he go while living in the forest. And he said, "Yeah, I have been foolish. I was warned by that sage. I have been I He admitted that he was bound by the ties of affection for his son, of having a son, and is trapped in the illusion of worldly life due to his past karma. He pleaded with Gokarna to lift him, to help him. You know, what should he do? And he added that neither. Then Gokarna actually replies that neither sons nor wealth truly belongs to us. A man attached to them suffers day and night. So now Gokarna continues advising his father to stop identifying with the body made of flesh and blood. Because if you remember that Chitraketu story also, once the soul is out, that part of karma, whoever he was surrounded with, whatever the situation was, like I said, that we are getting this satsang opportunity in our dream state right now to awaken us. People are coming and telling you you are not this body. The same thing is what Gokarna was doing to his father. He was saying that stop identifying with your present situation. Stop identifying that you are this person, you are this body made up of flesh and blood. Give up the attachment that you have. Everybody is around you for a particular reason. Either they have come or due to your past karmas, or they have come as a means of grace in your life and is explaining these things to you. So give up this attachment to wife, son, and material possessions. Everything comes on its own accord. He encouraged his father to view the world as temporary, to cultivate the joy of detachment. What detachment? Detachment from desires, karma, krodha, anger, lobe, greed, moh. Again, attachment to different things that we have. Mother, the ego, I know this, I am the greatest, all of that. And matsarya, competition. We are not here to compete with the other person. In fact, we are here to compete with our own self to become the better version of ourselves. Okay, today we are like this, tomorrow are we a little bit more better person. That is what matters. We have to have competition. If at all, it should be within us, with us, and to devote himself to the Lord. So these were the advice that Gokarna actually gave to Atmaram. He said Gokarna advised him to practice the virtue of remembering the Lord continuously. Abandon all the worldly duties. You've done enough. He says, seek the company of saintly persons and give up the craving for sensory pleasures. He told his father to stop focusing on others' faults or merits. Don't think about others, think about yourself, and enjoy the bliss of serving the Lord and listening to his stories. Following his son's advice, Atmadev renounced his home and withdrew to the forest. Now he very, very determined. Despite he was over 60 years old, he showed strong determination and engaged in constant devotion to Sri Hari. And Atmadev finally attained closeness to Krishna by regularly reading Shrimad Bhagavatam, dedicating day and night to this service. And that actually brings to the end of the fourth discourse titled Redemption of Atmadev, a Brahmana, apart from the glory of Shrimad Bhagavatam in Uttarakhand of Padma Purana. Yes. Any questions?
Radhe Radhe. For me, this was like completely new story. So thank you for enlightening us.
I thank you for giving me opportunity.
No, not me.
Yeah. So I think we have time, but we can. Do you have the last song of Damodarashtakam?
Uh, we can do it. I don't have it with me.
So we can do it tomorrow also.
Yeah, I guess that would be better.
Yeah. If yes, Dineshji, you can unmute yourself, I think.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question that which Bhagavad we should recite, because there are so many religious channel on my TV, and every day so many Bhagavad Sapta are Katha are coming for 7 days or 8 days for 3 or 4 hours a day. So, and essentially they are doing it to collect the money for their ashram or to needy people or rejected senior people by their children. So I don't know what should we follow.
If you're looking for a saptaha, the one that I would recommend is by Indresh ji. I have personally listened to him and I really like the way he presents. So that's really the one that I go for and I go and listen again and again. So if Indresh Ji Maharaj, so it's really
Yeah,
good.
I
He's a
know.
young boy.
I see him in the TV channel. Yeah.
Yeah, you can take any saptah of his and just listen for 7 days, and I think and also once you start listening to him, you can give a try to various people that and you will get connected to one or the other person, and okay, I'm able to understand this person more, I think, and you should go for that. It's all about a personal choice. There is no um it's about you listening to it more than what the other person is intending to do it, because you are also listening because you have that desire, right? It's coming
Yeah.
from within.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we can end this session, Sandhya.
Yeah,
I don't.
good. And I'll also stop the recording.
Yes.